So years ago, in 2021, Atlus released Shin Megami Tensei V on the Nintendo Switch. And I really liked this game. This is the Steelbook, and I thought it was an awesome experience with that traditional turn-based RPG in mind. And of course, bringing in the demon capturing mechanics, as what we'll say here. But now Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance is releasing, and Atlus asked if they could send over a code and sponsor a video for me to take a look at it, and since I like Shin Megami Tensei V, figured, yeah, why not? Let's take a look at an awesome game that is now going to other platforms. I think that was one of the big things people were excited about, is seeing this game kind of spread its wings and go to other devices that should run the game better, we'll say, than the Switch. Not that the Switch didn't run it well enough at the time, but you kind of had that in the back of your mind. What would this game look like on a really powerful PC, for example? Well, I actually got a PC code, so not only will I look at it on a gaming desktop, but I'll also take a look at it on the Steam Deck to see how that one holds up. So if you guys enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. As I mentioned, Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance is coming to multiple platforms, including Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and Windows PC on Steam June 14th. This is going to open up the game to a much larger audience, with the title originally just being available on the Switch when it released in 2021. I'll attempt to avoid any major spoilers here, since the story is something you'll want to experience for yourself, so mostly I'll be using footage from the first few hours here in this video. It's not hard to spend 80 hours or more in the original SMT V, so I did have a more limited look at the new game here after about 10 hours, but things like visuals and quality of life features are pretty obvious from the start. As soon as you do start up the game, you'll be greeted with two options: Canon of Vengeance or Canon of Creation. The first choice is the new story route introduced here, while Creation is the original story. You play as Nahobino, who's formed from a desperate fusion of your character and a being you find after being transported to a strange post-apocalyptic world. This kicks off a journey of discovering the world around you, along with relationships with companions along the way. In fact, as soon as you're let loose in the world, the first thing you'll notice are demons trudging about, who, when you approach them, will launch into a classic turn-based RPG experience. Here you have commands letting you attack, use items, run, or you can talk to the demon. Trying to hold a conversation with that demon can eventually lead to recruiting them and growing your party. It's pretty much a monster capture mechanic. I think this is one of the best parts about Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance, since the different exchanges can be strange and outright funny at times. Take this one for example. When I opened up a conversation, it turns out they were busy talking on a cell phone to a friend who was warning them about me trying to recruit them. So, fourth wall breaking stuff, of course. It's fun to see what each demon wants or the situation they bring with them as the conversation branches off with more dialogue decisions, eventually leading to them joining up if you navigate correctly. SMT V Vengeance is certainly a more difficult game, and while you can turn down the difficulty in the settings, part of what makes this game so good is it making you learn different strategies and use your demons in different ways. This stems from the press battle system, where figuring out your enemy's weaknesses will grant you an extra turn that can make each battle feel almost like a puzzle to solve. As you win battles, experience will flow in, leveling up your main character and your companions. This will lead to new skills being learned, along with stat points for you to allot. With Vengeance, there is an auto battling option that makes fights go by faster, provided your current party setup can handle things. You can also visit your demons in a more laid-back setting, where you check in with them and even give them gifts. All of this, along with progress you make in the world, builds your relationships with the different demons and can result in extra items or more attribute points to build your character. To go a step further, combining or fusing your demons will give you access to stronger forms and skills that carry over. This all combines to give you a ton of freedom for how you want to assemble a party, depending on the situation you're in. It's a lot of fun discovering new forms and eventually building out a powerful demon to help take down that overwhelming boss fight. Some of the demon designs alone are so outlandish at times, you'll want to keep pressing on just to see what other wild ideas the game has in store for you. Traversing the world is another highlight here, with your character being quick and nimble, running through the wasteland, sliding down hills, and leaping way up in the air to get past obstacles. It's probably one of the better RPGs when it comes to your character's movement in an overworld, and now there are these Makatsui rails that let you get around quickly or even climb to spots that are out of the way and have extra items or perks to find. Oh, and check this out. Now you can save anywhere with the press of a button. Before you could save, but you would have to visit this portal to do so. Sure, you could teleport back to save, but with Vengeance, the whole thing is just streamlined. I would recommend saving frequently, by the way, in this game. There were a few times where I was caught by surprise in a random battle and got a game over, losing like 20 minutes of progress early on because I forgot to take advantage of that easy saving. So yes, save often. Vengeance did add new content. This includes 40 new demons, bringing the total number to more than 270 to find. New characters, Yoko and Kadishtu, join into the story, along with human guest characters who can jump into your party and join you in battle. The Wasteland has also been expanded with Shinjuku and a mysterious dungeon Shikan to explore. Let's jump over, though, to the visuals and the performance for the game. As mentioned, I spent some time playing this game on PC, and in this case, it's equipped with an i9, a 3080 Ti, and plenty of RAM. When I went to the settings, I saw the resolution appears to cap out at 3440 by 1440, which unfortunately doesn't fill out my ultra-wide monitor and leaves black bars on the right and left side of the screen. I wouldn't mind seeing an update later on that would take advantage of the ultra-wide resolutions out there, especially with some of the sweeping shots of the world when you're running around. Otherwise, the settings here are pretty limited. Things like ambient occlusion, motion blur, anti-aliasing can be toggled on and off, and at the bottom, you have the option to pick a frame rate limit. I left this at unlimited just to see what I would end up with here, pushing on my desktop, and it was a pretty consistent 250 FPS on average. Yes, this game is pretty easy to run, even on older graphics cards, but the game itself cleans up nicely here and really looks sharp. The cutscenes do still seem to be lower resolution, however, and clashes with the sharper looking in-game visuals when you switch back and forth, but overall, super smooth to play here at 1440p, but how does it stack up on the Steam Deck? Well, as you can see, it's able to hold Shin Megami Tensei 5 at the 60 FPS mark fairly easily across the board. Even better with the OLED model, the improved battery shows through here with battery life eclipsing the 4-hour mark consistently in-game. I went up to 90 FPS to take advantage of the 90 Hz display, and while it would hit that frame cap, it was a bit less stable and would fall into the 70s at times. Having 60 FPS locked, though, on a handheld setup like this for an RPG, it's already smooth enough, I'd say. And then the OLED display really adds to the experience. It looks awesome with this game's color palette and the darker tones. It was a nice feeling, though, going back and forth between desktop and Steam Deck, not really feeling like I'm missing out on much or having to compromise heavily for in-game visuals or performance. And I did that quite frequently, leveraging Steam's cloud saves with no issues. At the end of the day, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is just a really good turn-based RPG that has some wild themes and art directions that can make you do a few double takes, but I still enjoy the gameplay and the battle system years later, and the demon recruiting and fusion mechanics are extremely addictive loop that can see you easily dump 100 hours plus into the game. The added content for Vengeance is something that will bring back veteran players, but I think this game now, going to other platforms and opening it up to a new audience, is a major win for what's just a really good RPG. But let me know what you guys think about Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance down below, whether you're a longtime fan who's excited for the release, of course, which platform are you picking it up on, or if you're a newcomer and you are interested in checking it out. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.